Not just Asmongold, Pint, and Preach moved over to Final Fantasy XIV. Savix also moved over from World of Warcraft to Final Fantasy XIV. Like, it's crazy. I feel like half of the WoW content creators moved over to Final Fantasy XIV. Like, seriously. And yeah, Savix made a video about where he gives his honest opinion on Final Fantasy XIV. Basically, his like first impressions and all. So yeah, let's have a look at what he has to say.
Growing up, I was always a huge fan of Final Fantasy. Especially 7.
Oh,
From
7,
Crisis
that's my
Core
childhood.
On PSP to even Advent Children. Yes.
Oh
the
yeah,
movie.
Advent Children.
10
I
out
saw
of 10.
that.
I always knew that the Final Fantasy genre had a strong reputation in gameplay and story. However, when it came to the MMO, Final Fantasy XIV, I thought it was uncomparable to WoW.
Yeah.
God MMO.
Because it held the crown at that
But
time.
expansions to expansion, WoW kept disappointing everyone.
Sadly,
The
yes.
cycle continued, as well as Blizzard never listening to their loyal players. This is how the famous MMO lost its reputation. I'll show you.
But that's true, because if you look at like other MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV, and that's why it's so successful now, the devs actually care about the player's opinion. If we complain over and over again about something, they're gonna fix it. If you do this in WoW, like with Blizzard, like you can even have like you can sign a paper with like, let's say 100,000 plus votes and like, hey, remove this. Even if more than 100,000 players complain about it, they're not gonna change it. And that sucks.
Show you 3 simple steps of what the main problem was. A new expansion is now publicly announced, and the beta is released. Players spend countless of hours on beta, testing the game out and point out all the problems that exist.
And they fix nothing,
The
right?
game is now released, and the problems are still there.
I knew
For
it.
months and months. Players keep pointing out to Blizzard that this must be changed, but it is simply ignored. Majority of the players quit
Should
now.
do that to your community.
Then Blizzard starts making changes at the end of expansion to save their player base. Hey, we're making good changes. You guys can come back now. And does this work?
A bit late, I would say.
Yes, it actually works for the majority of the loyal fans that played this game for years.
Not necessarily.
The 915 is gonna be great, and you'll come back crawling, you betrayer. That's right. You just wait, you'll see.
Copium. Oh
Some
yeah, that's
manage to
really
break from
copium
this
right there.
toxic relationship, but many are still trapped. The endless cycle is continued. However, not for me. Today, I would like to share a story with you of how I became the warrior of Chad.
The warrior of chat, not
August
of light.
2021.
Oh yeah.
Many of the WoW veterans
I love this
were
edit
already
here.
migrating to other worlds.
Yeah.
Even
New
for
World.
me at the time, I was playing Lost Ark off stream on a Russian server. With a bit of classic TBC to continue my copium journey.
Oh
I was
yeah.
in a battleground farming honor points, along with the daily messages.
You know what's actually funny, guys? Like, because he just mentions like classic. Like when Shadowlands came out, and a lot of people were like very disappointed. Same with BFA. I feel like a lot of people that actually intended to quit World of Warcraft, they didn't like really quit, but they just moved over to classic, like to get back the old feeling they once had, right? I think that's like, I would say like a lot of quitters didn't quit really, but they moved over to classic.
Savix, would you ever consider trying Final Fantasy XIV? And I would simply reply with, the game looks bland and it's unappealing to me. For some reason, I was pretty close-minded in trying Final Fantasy XIV.
Sadly, many are.
Then, on that same day, I was reacting to videos because of how boring Honor Farm was. And the video that was requested was called
So he was
15
bought and
Year
checked it
WoW
out.
Nerds' First impression of Final Fantasy XIV PvP. My viewers knew I was a PvP fiend, so they threw in a little bait, and it worked.
Oh, it
I
worked.
told
You got
everyone
hooked
that
on
day
it, huh?
that I would try Final Fantasy XIV. And with a little bit of push from my friends, I was in.
The cat girls got
I
you
needed
in,
to
huh?
see what this game was all about.
Yeah, let's consume all that. Like we got Mikote, we got Vera, and wait, Aura are hot too, right? Like Aura, like some female auras look really interesting as well, I would say, right?
I needed to see what this game was
Where's
all
Aura?
about. Savix Adventure of Final Fantasy XIV Episode 1 has started.
Yay!
For a couple of days,
start a new
I
journey.
played the game off stream.
Just
so
like
I
my
wouldn't
channel,
have
we're
any
also pretty new to
distractions.
FF14.
I wanted to fully experience and immerse
That guy's
myself
face, what's up?
into this game.
What up,
Then give it a rating, since I've
He
heard
enjoys
so
it
many
too
mixed
much.
comments about it. It was a new beginning in this world called Eorzea.
Eorzea.
The game
Welcome
was
to
not
Eorzea.
bad at all. It was nothing like I imagined. When I said the game looked unappealing,
Like,
and
look at
bland,
that
what was I
cool glamour.
thinking? This game is a piece of art.
Yeah, it really is.
It was a fresh breath of air, and it reminded me of how fun it is to try and explore in a new game. I did also run into a few problems, such as being way too used to WoW's interface. For some reason, I found it very
yeah.
difficult to navigate in this UI.
Yeah, and the thing is about like Final Fantasy XIV, like third-party tools are not officially allowed. So you don't have so many add-ons like you have in World of Warcraft. Like, if you look at all the UIs in like other MMOs, like Elder Scrolls Online, for example, or if you look at like WoW, yeah, you have like a different UI from like add-ons and stuff, and you don't really have that in Final Fantasy XIV. And yeah, it is definitely a different feeling. I had the same impression feeling when I started FF14, and wow. And yeah, by the way, guys, if you're new to this channel and you love MMOs and Final Fantasy XIV, this channel is all about that. So please don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, let's continue watching and see how his journey went.
Especially the map. I cannot get around Oda. It was a nightmare. Another thing I noticed right away was a lot of reading. This game had a lot of reading.
Oh yeah, so
and
much
I
dialogue.
suck
True.
at reading. Honestly speaking, playing this game really helped me improve
Your
my
reading skills.
skills.
Oh wow.
Slowly but surely, I understood what kind of MMO this
I
was.
feel like reading is dying
for
out so
sure
much with
felt
the
it.
new generations. Like less
The
people
little
actually
details
read
it
books.
had amused me.
Sadly.
Especially the fact that it showed rings when you equipped it.
Ooh. Wow, you even got glamour
I
here,
know it's
right?
something stupid, but
Stylish
in
rings.
what game do rings show? As well as neck pieces.
Ooh,
I thought it was so cool.
this is
I
fashion.
progressed and learned more about this
Stylish.
game every day. I even ended up watching an hour 30-minute documentary of how this MMO was recreated.
Oh,
due to
I
its
love
failure
this.
Back in 2010.
We got a few of those episodes on the channel, by
This
the way. I
allowed
reacted
them
to that too. Feel
create
free to
one of
check
the
it out.
most epic trailers of Realm Reborn, a
Oh,
new
yeah.
beginning.
The Calamity.
Even watching it now, it's so epic.
It's very epic. Feels like a
I've seen
movie
this
when
so
you see it
many
the first
times
time.
now. If you haven't seen this trailer yet, you should definitely go watch it.
Oh yeah.
Worth it. And I am so
The,
sorry.
the last moments of
Lost it.
FF14 version 1.0. Oh wow.
From this documentary, I learned how much these developers actually cared about the game and their
Yeah.
fan base. I loved how open they were to the audience, and big respect
It's
to
very
Yoshiki
important.
for not tying down their players to play their game. In fact, in the newer interviews, he was encouraging players
try other
explore
games.
and try out new games. Where in my
Very
other game
open-minded.
that I used to play, I felt like we were being abused, and there was no time for other games.
True.
Not until this moment.
He deleted it, really?
My journey continued throughout the great expansions, and along the way I've met and made so many new friends, and I would like to thank them all from the
Yeah, I actually love the environment so much as well in Final Fantasy IV. I feel like the community is super sweet, welcoming, and super nice. I'm not used to that. Like, I'm used to constant arguments with people from, like, World of Warcraft, for example. If, like, okay, you could say, like, Elder Scrolls online communities also, like, I'm not saying they're, like, really toxic, because you also have, like, quite many nice people. But if you compare, like, the amount of arguments, or if you get into a dungeons and you have, like, issues with other players, like... It's way fewer in Final Fantasy XIV. I don't even think I ever had any real arguments with anyone. In Elder Scrolls Online, from time to time, and in World of Warcraft, I actually see quite often arguments or people kicking others or like cursing each other's families and themselves out. Like, it's insane. But in Final Fantasy XIV, I have encountered yet Yeah, I have to yet encounter any toxicity. I saw no toxicity at all from the community. And that actually surprised me so much.
From the bottom of my heart for giving me one of the
Like, it's
best
super
experiences.
social. And RP is so
We
heavy in
visited
this
houses
game.
together,
Yeah.
took a lot of pictures,
So much
went
RP
to the
here.
Golden Saucer, raced our chocobos, and like grass-fed
Chocobo
organic
racing.
Omega Boy
I love it.
made me proud.
It's amazing.
I'll never forget that 12-hour Bahamas
Wow.
run. Oh man, that was a trip.
Like, this gets me
Big
almost
shout-outs to
emotional
Mata
watching
K
how
for
much he
teaching
enjoys
me and
it.
Miso the legendary fights.
Beautiful.
I even downloaded Heaven's Fall Simulator to master one of the fights. It actually helped me get so good at landing those. I guess you could say I nailed it.
Like, sorry guys, but this almost got me tear a little. Like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional watching another player enjoy Final Fantasy XIV. Is it because I really love the game myself that, like, my eyes get a little wet? Like, I don't know why I was getting emotional. Usually I never cry or anything, but as you guys can see, like, something wrong with my eyes now. Or maybe it's just dust. Yeah, it's just dust. Okay, let's continue. Holy shit.
Okay,
That's
before we
emotional.
move on, I want to show you guys this mock. Look at it, it's so
Yeah.
cool. These white people happy. I cannot get over how cool he looked.
Oh
I
yeah.
also had the honors to attend to these beautiful weddings.
Oh, I remember my first wedding.
Congratulations to all of you guys, and
It
thank
was
you for having me.
breathtaking.
And not to forget the jumping puzzles. They are omega fun to
Holy
do.
shit, I spent eternity
Super.
here, multiple days to get that.
Mother K also sucks at this. And last but not least, 1v1 duels. From what I witnessed, Alice was farming everyone as a samurai. Even me. But I got one clean win.
Like, I need to actually get into PvP. I have not PvP'd yet, and I'm really curious about it too. But the only reason why I'm not doing PvP is because I'm not max level yet. I want to be completely maxed out. Maybe I shouldn't think about like maxing first, but I have this kind of mentality from other MMOs, like I need to be completely maxed out to PvP. So yeah, if I max out, I will give PvP a shot too, and I'll definitely make also a video about my impression on PvP, so be prepared for that. But we'll still take a bit because we're now in the middle of Stormblood basically, so we have to yet finish it, and yeah, let's see.
Win as a ninja against her.
Wow, a ninja is actually cool in PvP.
There is so
Seems-
much
looks
more to
nice.
this game than any other.
I
It
spent to
felt
level
like a
mine more.
complete MMO. I couldn't think of anything that this game did not have. Maybe you guys could answer that in the chat.
What does this game not have? Oh, that's a good question. Holy shit, we have
This
everything.
game was not about doing
With
laps
housing,
around
PvP,
Dalaran
PvE,
or
RP.
Ouroboros waiting for queues. It had so much more, and the social aspect to this game was amazing.
Yeah.
Time to time, we would sit down in our FC.
Look at these dudes are clever. Like, grandma is reading some science books for everyone. It looks like it. Like, hey grandma, can you read us some science today? We want to know about the stars, the moons, and about like how chemical mixtures work, and how about physics, how about math. Like, let's just study together with grandma.
And share stories,
Holy
or even
shit.
talk about life. It's going to
Talk
sound
about life.
funny, but I felt so connected to my online friends,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
during the
Oh, I
pandemic.
love my FC.
And finally, I would like to
You're
thank
all
the
great
whole
guys
Final Fantasy
and
XIV
girls.
community for being one of the best communities out there.
That is
So
true.
far, I have not ran across a single toxic behavior.
Wow, it's such a good video,
Literally
guys. I really
zero.
like looking.
Where in other games, I would
can relate
receive
to so
hateful
much.
messages time to time. Hats off to you guys. And I guess the right way to close off the video is giving it my opinion, since
Mhm.
that is the reason
for
I
this
started playing
video.
this game.
And for
I actually have a lot of things I would like to say, but I will keep it short. Starting from the story, I think the story is amazing. I did my best in this video to not put in any spoilers at all. I wanted
Yeah.
to show a lot of epic scenes, but that is for you to try out when you play this game, or if you decide to play this game. It is a very long journey.
Son
is
Goku's
worth
Nimbus,
especially
flying
Shadow
Nimbus.
Breakers. There's
We
like
have a
saying
Dragon Ball
for
mount
it.
here.
If you could go through ARR, you'll love this game. ARR could be the slope that a lot of people have a hard time going through. One of the reason being is because it's the oldest expansion, and that's
That's
the one
true.
you start out with. So if you could go through that, the rest is just
It's just so good, right?
quality 10 out of 10.
Wow, yeah.
For dungeons and raiding, I think, for dungeons at least, it starts kicking off in Stormblood. from Stormblood, I thought the dungeons were super fun and interactive.
Yeah, the
For
mechanics
raids,
are great.
They are good. Every single expansion, every raid is memorable. The music is 10 out of 10. It sets the tone. When you first fight the primals, oh man.
Oh, I remember my first primal fight against Ifrit. I was actually a bit like nervous. Like I see this big boss there and I thought he was like super tough and I would like wipe multiple times. And you know what's funny? I actually beat this one quite easy. And I was like, wow, I must be so strong that I can beat such a big boss. But yeah, once you go like to different modes like hard mode or extreme and you go like higher with those primals, it actually gets really interesting. Like I love the mechanics and how you also interact with your environment. For example, if you fight like Ifrit, they're like those kind of needles or spears that spawn and you need to quickly destroy all of them or the group gets wiped. Like I love the mechanics so much in dungeons, triads, raids. I think it's very well designed and it's like so underrated and people like look over it when they like look for an MMO. Like yeah, World of Warcraft has very good dungeons and raids. I'm not trying to hate on them, they are really good. But like Final Fantasy XIV dungeons and raids, they are on a whole other level to me. Like seriously, I love them so much.
It is so epic. Not over exaggerating. I thought fighting the primals with that music was one of the best things. And also this game did a fantastic job of scaling you down into any raid content you would like to do that is from the older expansions. In WoW, I remember streamers had to do an event like Project 60 or Project 30, whatever you want to call it. We would basically stop leveling at a certain point to downgrade ourselves. But in this game, if you want to do old content with the item level that existed at that time, you could set that up and go through the raid.
I think that's so cool with the scaling. I like that too.
Changed, but you get the idea of how it was back in the day. And lastly, the PvP.
PvP.
I will be completely honest. PvP is probably the least favorite thing I've had in Final Fantasy. I do not think it is terrible. Maybe I'm just used to WoW. As a DPS, I felt like having 1 CC on a long cooldown, it felt bad.
Yeah.
I want to keep this short.
I see now where he's coming from.
And tanks and healers, they are extremely hard to kill in this game.
Oh yeah.
The same as WoW, but you have less CC.
Like look at that, he never even drops low
on your teammates if you play the 4v4 mode. It almost works the same.
Well, this was literally just sitting around chilling. Yo, he's like trolling him. Like, look at that, guys. No, but seriously, like, I feel like healing is quite powerful here in this game too. Like, yeah, sure, like, there are some skills that can like really nuke someone a little bit down. But like he said, with like the long cooldown, so you need to literally catch someone off guard on like half health or something with like a hard-hitting cooldown skill, like on a healer, right?
Less CC. And you have
but
to
that almost never happens. Look, he doesn't even get below half health.
If you play the 4v4 mode. It almost works the same as WoW. You still have to set up kills.
Look,
but
impossible. Almost.
It lacks the potential of being able to carry by yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah, you need more.
I think that's the best way I could say.
His strongest move
so
didn't
personally,
finish.
For me, it is not my favorite thing to do. As well as my goal was to get to level 80, then start PvPing. Because technically, yes, you could start PvPing at level 30. However, you will have a lot of abilities that you have no clue on how to use. So that being said, I will try more PvP now that I'm 80
beautiful scene here, right?
After my Necromancer title.
Oh, he's going for that too?
That's the reason why I started playing this game.
It's a very tough one.
I fell in love with the other things. I will do more PvP though, I promise. I will close it off.
I can't wait to see that.
There will be more news about PvP in Endwalker live letter, which is very, very soon. So, keep in touch with that if you're a PvP fiend. But for me, I think I'm retiring and becoming a full-time RP player.
Really?
People are gonna laugh at me. Savix rank 1 red paladin.
But it's good, it's fun in FF14, so...
Roleplay in this game is...
I get a picture with you.
It's amazing, okay? All the jokes aside, if you're a fan of MMOs,
give it a shot.
I think you should give Final Fantasy XIV a try.
Yeah.
Coming from a long time MMO player.
It's for free to try. You have like 2 expansions even.
And that is it.
Holy shit.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. Also, I have a second channel, so if you ever want to watch my older Final Fantasy journey, you could go there and check.
Oh, interesting.
Thanks.
See you in Endwalker. Wow. That's such a beautiful video, and I can relate to so much that he said there. And like, usually I don't cry during Final Fantasy XIV reactions or like other players share their opinion, but because here there was like quite a lot I can relate to, and because it really seems like he fell so much in love with the game and talked about all like the beautiful aspects that I also find crazy beautiful and fun. Like, yeah, it got me a bit emotional. Like, wow, that's such a good video by Savix. And yeah, the cool thing about Final Fantasy XIV is also the free trial. Like, I think it's so easy for like new players to get into the game because you have ARR and you have Heaven's Ward in it for free, and there's like no paid subscription or anything until you get to Stormblood, right? And by then you already know if the game is for you or not. And like, most people are having so much fun, enjoying so much, they're gonna get anyway a sub to that game. Like, I got one after playing for... How long was I in like free trial? Like, was it like a month or so? And then I got like the game because it was so good and fun. And yeah, I feel like it's definitely worth giving a shot. And it's really fun to see like other WoW players or content creators in general pick up Final Fantasy XIV. Like, when I started playing it and I said to my community, guys, from now on I'll do a lot of Final Fantasy XIV videos. We're gonna do like some other MMOs from time to time, but it would be mostly focused on Final Fantasy XIV. I was like panicking because I thought like, oh, like you guys, like my subs, like everyone's going to abandon me. But it's actually interesting because I see like people come back, and some people also try out Final Fantasy XIV and tell me, hey, you know what, I saw you play and stream this game and I've never played it before, but I gave it a shot and it's actually quite fun. And I'm like happy to see that like my community is also now trying the game and like letting me know how they feel. So it's like very beautiful. Like, I love reading your comments, guys. So what do you guys think about Savic's reaction on Final Fantasy XIV, about what he mentioned? Like, wow. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. And if you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. And I would also really appreciate if you like this video, this will help with the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you guys next time.